We may be a few months away from winter, but taking the proactive steps towards boosting your immune system now could be the answer to protecting you from those nasty winter colds and flus. Now we chat to Medical Officer Dr. Fezile Mkhize on how we can best start planning now to get our immune systems in tip-top shape and ready to fight off those nasty viruses. We also have Nicole Austin joining me in the lab today as a health correspondent. Great to see you again, Nicole.
Great to be here, Palesa, and I think taking a healthy approach to 2021 is just so proactive, and I'm really excited to be here with you.
That's what it's all about, you know, having you in the front line as a doctor, but also someone that the viewers are no stranger to. I think you're the perfect person to have this conversation with, which also leads me to you, Dr. Fez. I want to find out from you, Doc, why is it that we are more susceptible to the colds and flus in winter?
Well, hey guys. I'm actually very happy to be seeing both of you. When it comes to being susceptible to getting sick over the winter periods, there's a number of theories around it. Not one singular theory has actually been proven correct necessarily. There's kind of the two elements of how we behave, and then secondarily the weather itself. So when we're talking how we behave, we tend to be indoors, we wrap ourselves up a bit more, we want to be closer together. By wrapping ourselves up, we actually end up not getting as much vitamin D from the sun. Also kind of factoring in that winter does have shorter days. We end up having some level of vitamin D drop, and if you don't try supplement that in some way, you will find that vitamin D itself does help the immune system, and there will be some amount of dysregulation. Being close to each other, as we've become kind of known, you aren't social distancing, so you aren't actually having space. So if somebody is sick, you're more likely to come into contact with surfaces and particles that they may have coughed up. And then the weather side, they find that with lower humidity, there actually ends up being more likelihood for the virons, so the virus that you may cough up if you are sick, to hang in the air longer. So those kind of combinations are the theories around why you may become more sick during colder times.
Thanks, Doc. I guess the question I want to ask you is that some of us are more prone to catching these viruses, especially over the winter. Why is that?
So it's that kind of combination that we're kind of thinking about when we're looking at the weather and just how we behave as humans, trying to stay warmer. And you do have some people who are a bit more free when it comes to just being cognizant of services that people who may be sick have coughed on, touched. And I think we've become so well versed now when it comes to preventing ourselves from coming into contact with viruses that I'm hoping moving into subsequent winters, we will be a bit better when it comes to contracting flu and colds.
Well, one can only hope, Doc. But you know, another word or phrase that keeps coming up when we speak about the cold and the winter and the flu is the immune system. Now, how does the immune system play a role in protecting us from falling sick?
When it comes to the immune system, there's kind of two parts of it. The part that kind of immediately jumps when something comes into play, something that the body doesn't recognize and tries to isolate it and get a measure on it and kind of a gauge. And then there's the part which we call the adaptive immune system, which kind of caters and is able to recognize past insults that we may have come across. So you have a number of barriers that try kind of stop your body from coming into contact with things that could be potentially harmful. And that's the great thing when we're talking the immune system. So it tends to adapt quite well when we come into viruses, bacteria that we may have had an exposure to in the past. So it's all, if you would imagine, kind of like a military, like an army, where the frontliners are there just stopping every single thing. And then you have the HQ trying to figure out if it is something that's bad. And if it is bad, how we got over it last time to make it more streamlined.
I love that military analogy, very visual. We still have a few months till we hit winter. What can we do now to start building a strong and healthy immune system?
People almost think that you need to be taking a whole host of things to try and make sure that your immune system is actually optimized. At the end of the day, it comes down to some very basic things that we have to be aware of. Chief of those is that we need to move within our circadian rhythm. So kind of that 24 hours that we have within a day, the amount of sleep that you need is about at least 6 to 8 hours. Also making sure that you're hydrating because your body's made up of water, and most of the reactions that you end up having are within the space of water. So when you're dehydrated, you're actually going to have a dysfunctional immune system. And then also just being cognizant of the food food you eat, nutrition-wise, and you will be able to get a very strong immune system without having to go out and buy a lot of expensive things to try and make sure that you're living well and having a very good immune system.
And on that same note, Doc, why is it so important to take daily supplements to assist in building that healthy immune system?
Yeah, so I mean, supplements themselves are just that. They're supplementary. So we kind of have a whole host of things that you can get from the food that you eat. So your micronutrients is the things that you kind of build up your immune system with and make sure your body's functioning well. If you find that you are somebody who might not be getting everything that you need, so you might not be switching up the food that you have or eating all the colors of the rainbow, you can then supplement some of that with a number of supplements like multivitamins. You can even go to your D3s when we're talking about vitamin D, especially in the winter time. Those things help to actually add to your overall diet. And in so doing, you make sure that your immune system's getting everything that it needs.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fez. Always such a pleasure to touch base with Fezil.
Yeah, he's amazing. Such a wealth of information in a good-looking package.
I am telling you that, South Africa. But you know what's also very exciting for me is that not only is this such a unique opportunity to boost your immune system, keep it strong as we do transition through the seasons, but also, Mzansi, this is an even bigger opportunity to walk away with 5,000 Rand.
I mean, 5,000 Rand is a lot of money. I don't know what you guys would do with 5,000 Rand. I know exactly what I would do with 5,000 Rand right now. And it's all about being brave and telling us your survival stories.
Absolutely. So for South Africans who might not know what we're talking about, essentially IMMUENZA is coming through helping us earn some ching by sharing our survival story. Now, I don't have that many survival stories, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty safe. Like, I'm the type of person who straps up 75 times when I'm in the car. I look left, I look right, I look left again, and I look right again before I cross any road. So I don't really have any daredevil type of stories.
That's why we're the perfect combination. It's the yin and the yang. I think I like life on the edge. And for anybody who's looking to share their life on the edge stories, now's the time, right?
Absolutely. Let me give you the details on how you can do that, South Africa. Do you have a survival story? Well, then we want to hear from you. Share your survival story with us, from surviving a failed parachute to escaping a lion attack. We want to hear your story. IMMUENZA is giving away 5,000 Rand. Let me say that again. 5,000 Rand a week for 5 weeks. And all you have to do is reply to the IMMUENZA competition post on the Afternoon Express Facebook page or Twitter page and tell us your survival story and what protected you, using that hashtag IMMUENZA. Competition closes tonight at midnight. Terms and conditions can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. Help support your immune system for your next big adventure with IMMUENZA.